Welcome back to my channel, guys. I'm Nina, your bestie and interior designer, and we are going to do today what so many people are talking about, and that is the world of grandma chic design. What did we say? Yes, grandma chic. Your doily making grandma and her floral prints are coming in with a bang, and it's actually cool again. And we're going to talk about what it is about grandma chic that everybody's obsessed about, and is there a part of you that could espouse this, and how we're doing it in other people's homes. So let's go. So grandma chic is also known as the grand millennial or grandma core. So you guys might have heard those terms that are being coined. And it's a design trend that celebrates the cozy, the nostalgic elements of our grandparents that we loved, but in a way that's actually very contemporary, and it's infused with lots of flair and lots of pizzazz. So it's not old and boring and smelly. It is actually familiar. It is a really unique aesthetic. Are you guys ready to espouse grandma chic? Well, I'm here to give you some tips on how to infuse your space with this charming and beloved design. But before we dive in deeper, I'm going to ask you guys to please hit that subscribe button. We are so close to 100,000. I can't even believe it. I wouldn't have been able to do it without you. And if you haven't already, just click that button. It makes such a world of difference to me. And I would love, with your help, to get to that 100,000 so we can celebrate together. First things first, if you want to embrace grandma chic, we have to also embrace floral patterns. And floral patterns, to me, are really dainty and beautiful. I used to love, when I was younger, having floral patterns in my bedroom, and I remember choosing these beautiful roses from Italy, believe it or not, for my bedroom growing up. So for me, floral patterns are ultra, and they are actually making a nice comeback. A lot of these floral prints are done in a way that is very modern and very of today's style. So look for, small vintage floral prints on wallpaper, for example, or maybe you want to do some throw pillows that have, one or two elements of floral patterns. I think that having that beautiful detail on a pillow, whether it's hand embroidered or maybe it's just a pattern or a print, don't be afraid to match and mismatch your floral patterns and some stripes. To me, floral and stripes work very well together, and don't be afraid to make sure that they're not actually too homogeneous. You want to make them a little bit dissimilar to give it that really cool grandma chic vibe. Next tip that's really important is the old and the new and how to mix them. The beauty of grandma chic really lies in the ability to blend these eras together. So it's okay to have new pieces, but it's also very important to bring in sort of these vintage older pieces as well. So for example, you can have a modern coffee table and perhaps a modern sofa, but then you can layer in all of these antique pieces like an antique console table. So the juxtaposition between, the old and new is really what creates, not only in design, a really elevated look, but also in the grandma chic style. Next, very important aspect of creating grandma chic is textures. So you want to create coziness and you want to create depth through layers of textures, which is very essential to grandma. So grandma likes lots of layers, lots of chicness, and she likes to be able to have throws and have multiple colors in a room that are of the same family. I think that's the way that you modernize it versus having all sorts of random colors. You're going to have something that's a little bit more edited. And that's how you can create a living space that is really key in terms of grandma chic. The next tip is really important, and it's how you can really add personality to your space, which is really important. And speaking of adding personality, I am happy to jump on calls with you guys to walk through any of these things, or if you have questions regarding, your furniture purchases or colors you want to use in your home, or just how to update your kitchen, whatever it may be, I am just a Zoom call away. All you have to do is click the link in the description section. Next thing you know, a calendar will pop up and we can book a Zoom call for as little as 25 minutes. In order to infuse your personality, you have to display items that are of importance to you, that speak to you. So if you display, for example, if you have a collection of beautiful art that you've cherished, then do a gallery wall. Bring them all together. They don't necessarily have to be photographs. They can be prints, they can be art, they can be a scrap that you found. It could be a drawing that you made on a napkin that you framed. Like anything that speaks to you should come in together in a grouping, and make sure that you're doing it in a way that is balanced. So if you have a very heavy wall like you have in this photo, and you've got a big chandelier, then you want to minimize your furniture and bring attention to this gallery wall. And this really adds personality, it adds history, it creates this gorgeous setting that will allow people to really know who you are when they walk into your home. Next, most important thing to do is, and this is true across the board, not just for grandma chic, and a lot of these tips are true across the board, but you really want to incorporate pieces that are of quality and that have personality and that are not necessarily trendy. So the rule of thumb always when you find something that's trendy is think back, how many trendy pieces do you have? And if you have about 30%, that's as max as you should go. There's a 70-30 rule where you should be 70 classic, 30 fun. So, again, we don't all have to adhere to these, but these are the general rules in case you wanted a guide as to what to do. But in any event, when buying an important, long-lasting piece, you want to get something that is timeless. And grandma has a lot of timeless pieces, which is why they are still in her home and that you're willing to steal. I have found a great deal of really nice grandma chic items that we're using in projects from Soho Home, which is of course the branch of Soho House, and Lulu in Georgia. They have a lot of great patinaed pieces. These pieces look like they've been around for a long time. If you don't have the wherewithal to go vintage shopping, then by all means go to these websites. And I'm gonna list a few of these special items that I think look really great. For example, the lamp that you see here from Soho Home, I think is a very classic yet grandma chic table lamp that I think would look great in any space. It's $425. And I especially love the sconce, which is also from Soho Home. This one I think is priced quite well considering that it has beautiful brass arms and it has a lampshade, and this one is at $275. It's a little bit on the expensive side, but I think it's worth the investment. And then on Lulu and George's website, I found a couple pieces that really are, to me, interesting and of this style. And one is this mid-century Scandinavian designed round sconce. I think it's very, very pretty. This other piece that I found from Lulu in Georgia that I thought was actually quite in keeping with the theme is this hand illustrated patterned poof ottoman, which I think would look great in any space. Anthropologie also has a great selection. As some of you may know, I was an Anthropologie ambassador for some time, so I love a lot of their products. I think that they source them well. They're literally made in India and Portugal and Morocco, and they really are artisanal products. So I do believe in buying things that are made in the countries that have a lot of that great artistry. Look at this picture. I think that's wonderful. This is very grandma chic. It's very cute. It would look great in a kitchen. It would also even look great in a powder room or in a bathroom, because in the olden days they used to use pitchers and bowls to wash their hands and faces. So I think that's very grandma chic. And then there's lots of decorative pillows if you're looking for decorative pillows from Anther Living. While grandma chic celebrates nostalgia, it is really important to keep the look fresh and relevant. We don't want to backtrack, we want to forward track. So here are some tips on updating the trend for 2024. So this is also true for design. Right now in 2024, you want to choose moodier colors. The color palettes are getting dark. The color palettes are getting moodier. And speaking of which, I have designed more rugs at Ruggable that are going to be released sometime in December. I'll let you guys know, and they are moody, and I am so excited about them, and I can't wait to share them with you. But with that said, things are getting very moody, things are getting very homey, things are getting very nostalgic, and it's very sophisticated to pick these colors, and I love these colors. Burgundy, a lot of you may know, is one of my favorite colors. This approach really bridges the gap between vintage inspiration and modern sensibilities. Another great important tip is really incorporating modern lighting. So you want to balance sort of that vintage heaviness with something lighter and airier, such as the chandelier you see in this photograph, and that really creates the balance. The next thing that I'm going to say is something that I have difficulty with, but I really try and push, is to remember that you want to embrace imperfections. I have this crazy, you know, Virgo in me that wants to have everything be perfect, but it doesn't look good when things are perfect. You want something that's beat up, you know, you want some things that are smooth and clean, but then at the same time, you want things that really show their age. And I love a beautiful patina on a piece. That's why we're doing a lot of living finishes in our kitchens and in our bathrooms and in the projects that are coming up that we'll be sharing with you. A lot of this unlacquered pieces that are really patinaing over time. That really brings authenticity and charm to the home. And I don't care what you're doing, that is always, always the way to go. By the way, I've talked about this striped shirt, and this is from Favorite Daughter. We'll link it in case you're interested. The color, I think, pops. To check out more interior design trends, make sure and follow me to this next video. See you there.